Hello, listeners! Welcome to our channel, Learn English with Podcast. It's early and your brain's still in sleep mode. But then you hear it, the coffee machine brewing your morning fuel. You take that first sip and suddenly you're awake, alive, ready to conquer the day. But coffee's more than just a wake-up call. It's packed with benefits you might not even realize. From boosting your mood to protecting your brain, that cup of joe is doing wonders. So let's dive into how coffee isn't just a drink. It's your secret weapon for a better day. But before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly introduce today's guests, Alan and Alice. They are here to let you know about the history of coffee and benefits of drinking coffee. Let's get started.
Okay, I bet a lot of you have a cup of coffee with you right now.
Probably helps to get going in the morning, right?
It really does.
For sure.
But, coffee is way more than just a drink, right?
Oh, absolutely.
In this deep dive, we're going to, kind of explore the history of coffee, the culture, and some of the surprising ways it's kind of intertwined with all of us.
Yeah, its reach is incredible.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it all starts with this Ethiopian goat herder named Kaldi.
Oh, yeah.
And the story goes, he noticed his goats were getting super energetic after eating these red berries.
Oh, wow.
So like any curious person, he tries them himself and bam, the coffee craze is born.
I love that. It's such a humble beginning for something that's taking over the world, right?
Right. From a goat herder's observation to a global phenomenon.
And it wasn't just the goats who were early adopters.
No, not at all. There's a story about a monk who discovered that coffee helped him stay awake during those long prayer sessions.
All makes sense.
Right. They must have realized early on that this drink had something special.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't quite understand what it was.
And from those humble beginnings in Ethiopia, coffee starts to spread, right?
Exactly. It journeys across the Red Sea to the Arabian Peninsula.
Okay.
And the port city of Mocha in Yemen, that becomes like the central hub for the coffee trade.
That's where we get the name mocha from.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Coffee finds a particularly receptive audience in the Muslim world.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, you see, it offered a stimulating alternative to alcohol, which of course was forbidden.
Ah, I see.
So it wasn't just a drink, it represented a social and cultural shift.
Yeah, I can see that being revolutionary at the time, a drink that could bring people together and stimulate conversation, but without, the effects of alcohol.
Exactly, and that's how you get the birth of early coffeehouse culture.
It makes you wonder how many great ideas were sparked over a cup of coffee, But getting back to the story, coffee's journey doesn't stop there, does it?
Oh, no, not at all. By the 17th century, it had made its way to Europe.
Okay.
But it met some resistance along the way, especially in Italy.
Oh, interesting.
Some saw it as this, suspicious foreign brew, even going as far as calling it the bitter invention of Satan.
Wow, that's harsh. But coffee had something those naysayers couldn't deny, right?
You're talking about the taste.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to resist a good cup of coffee, no matter what you call it.
You're absolutely right. And there's this famous story about Pope Clement VIII.
Okay.
Despite initial concerns, he took one sip and was like, nope, this is too delicious to be left for the non-Christians.
So even the Pope couldn't resist. That's got to be a pretty powerful endorsement.
Oh, absolutely. It's like the ultimate seal of approval.
I bet that helped coffee spread even faster throughout Europe.
Oh, for sure. And what followed was a huge cultural shift.
What do you mean?
Well, these penny universities started popping up everywhere.
Penny universities. What are those?
Basically, for the price of a penny, you could buy a cup of coffee and enter this world of discussions and debates. It was like the original think tank. They were hubs for exchanging ideas, in politics, science, even finance.
Wow, that's fascinating. So coffee fueled the Enlightenment. It's amazing how this drink, once enjoyed by goats and monks, became the fuel for some of history's greatest minds.
It's quite a journey.
It is. But speaking of revolutions, coffee also played a surprising role in the American Revolution, didn't it?
Oh, it did. Think about the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
This was a major turning point in American history, right?
Absolutely.
And it was a protest against taxes on tea.
Right.
But what it unintentionally did was give coffee a huge boost.
Thank God.
Americans started replacing their tea with coffee as this patriotic act.
Oh, wow.
And that shift had a lasting impact on the nation's taste buds.
So coffee became a symbol of freedom and independence.
Exactly. It's incredible how something as simple as a cup of coffee can be intertwined with these historical events.
It really is. It just goes to show that there's so much more to coffee than just, the caffeine kick.
It's a cultural force, a historical player, a drink with a story that spans centuries and continents.
And speaking of continents, how about we take a little global coffee tour?
Let's do it.
Let's see how different cultures have embraced and transformed this beloved beverage.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's start where it all began, the Middle East.
Okay, great. In the Middle East, coffee, it's not just a drink. It's like a symbol of hospitality.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's really steeped in tradition.
Yeah.
Like in Turkey, they have this saying, coffee should be as black as hell, as strong as death, and as sweet as love.
Wow. That's quite a description. They definitely take their coffee seriously over there.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So what's so special about Turkish coffee? What makes it different?
Well, it's all about how they brew it. They use this special pot. It's called a sieve, and it's this small, long-handled pot. A lot of times it's made of copper, and the coffee is ground really, really fine.
Yeah.
And they brew it slowly over low heat, so you end up with this really rich, concentrated brew.
Sounds delicious.
And here's the thing. Unlike a lot of other coffee, Turkish coffee is served unfiltered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get all those grounds settled at the bottom of the cup.
Interesting. It's a whole different coffee experience then.
It really is.
Now, you mentioned something about Turkish coffee and marriage proposals.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one.
What's the story there?
Well, in Turkey, when a man proposes the woman, she prepares him a cup of Turkish coffee.
Okay.
And if she accepts, she makes sure that coffee is perfectly sweet.
Oh, that's sweet. What if she doesn't want to marry him?
Well, let's just say she might sneak in a little salt instead of sugar.
Oh, no. That's a lot of pressure for a cup of coffee.
Right. Talk about a make or break moment.
It really is. It's amazing how coffee can be so tied to these cultural traditions.
It really is.
Now, Turkish coffee isn't the only unique way they enjoy coffee in the Middle East, is it?
No, not at all. Like in Saudi Arabia, for instance, you'll find coffee flavored with cardamom.
Oh, yeah, I love cardamom.
Yeah, it adds this warm, aromatic spice to the brew.
That sounds delicious.
And it's really common to serve coffee with dates there.
Okay.
It's a nice gesture of hospitality, and the sweetness of the dates goes really well with the bitterness of the coffee.
So it's all about creating this whole sensory experience.
Exactly.
That goes beyond just the taste.
It does. It's really cool how all these cultures have developed their own unique rituals around coffee.
That's not just a drink, it's a cultural experience.
Exactly.
Well, from the deserts of the Middle East, let's jump over to Europe now.
Okay, where to?
Let's head to Italy, the land of espresso.
All right, I'm ready.
When you think about Italian coffee culture, what comes to mind?
I picture those classic Italian cafes, people standing at the bar, chatting with the barista, quickly downing an espresso before heading off to work.
Yeah, it seems like coffee is just part of the rhythm of daily life there.
It really is. Espresso is like the heart and soul of Italian coffee culture, and they've just perfected the art of making this strong, concentrated shot of coffee.
But there's more to it than just the espresso itself, right? There's a whole etiquette surrounding coffee in Italy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'd love to hear about that.
Well, for instance, if you want a milky coffee, like a cappuccino or a latte,
yeah,
you better order it before noon.
Why is that?
Well, a lot of Italians believe that milk-based coffees after lunch can mess with your digestion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They prefer to savor those milky coffees in the morning, maybe with a pastry or something,
right,
and then stick to espresso or black coffee in the afternoon.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about the taste. It's about, respecting this traditional way of enjoying coffee.
Exactly. It's about the whole culture,
Yeah. Well, let's hop over to another country with a strong coffee culture.
Okay, sounds good.
France. They seem to have their own unique approach to coffee.
Oh, they definitely do.
What's it like?
It's all about, the cafe experience.
Okay, what does that mean?
Imagine you're sitting at a sidewalk cafe, you have a warm croissant, you're sipping a cafe au lait, and just watching the world go by.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's all about slowing down, enjoying the moment, taking in the atmosphere as much as the coffee itself.
It's such a contrast to, the grab-and-go coffee culture we have here in the U.S.
It is. In France, coffee's not just fuel. It's, woven into the social fabric.
Okay.
It's a time to connect with friends, catch up on the news, just enjoy the bustling street life.
Well, speaking of the U.S., we have our own unique coffee scene, don't we?
Oh, we definitely do.
I mean, we've got everything here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
From, classic diner coffee to these super elaborate drinks that like have names I can't even pronounce.
Right. It's like whatever you want, however you want it, you can find it.
Exactly. And it's not just the drinks, it's the whole culture,
Yeah.
Like grabbing a coffee on the go has become almost a national pastime.
Oh, for sure.
We've got drive-through coffee shops, coffee trucks, coffee subscriptions.
Yeah, it's all about convenience.
It's like coffee's adapted to our fast-paced American lifestyle.
Exactly. It's become like this constant companion.
It has. Okay, let's jump over to Japan now.
All right.
Their coffee scene is a really interesting mix of tradition and modernity.
Yeah, it is.
On the one hand, you've got the hand-dripped coffee where the baristas, they're super meticulous.
Yeah, it's an art form.
And then on the other hand, you've got like canned coffee everywhere.
Vending machines. Yeah.
It's such a contrast.
Yeah.
They've managed to keep that traditional art of coffee making alive while also, embracing the convenience of modern life.
Yeah, and they take their coffee seriously, whether it's a pour-over or a canned coffee from a vending machine.
I love that. Okay, last stop on our coffee tour.
All right, where to?
Ethiopia. Back to where it all began.
Oh, yeah, great idea.
I mean, coffee's not just a drink there. It's like a cultural cornerstone.
It is. It's woven into the fabric of their lives.
And a great example of that is the traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony.
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful tradition.
What makes it so special?
Well, it's this whole multi-sensory experience.
Okay.
First, they roast the green coffee beans over an open flame, and you can smell the aroma as the beans crackle and pop. Then they grind the beans by hand, usually with a mortar and pestle.
Okay.
And that releases even more of that amazing coffee fragrance. Then they brew the coffee in a special clay pot called a jbena, and it has this round body and a long, thin spout.
Interesting.
The host, they carefully pour the coffee into these little handleless cups.
Okay.
And get this, the ritual is repeated 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah, each round, the coffee steeps longer, so the flavor changes a bit each time.
Wow. That sounds incredible.
It's a really mindful and intentional way to enjoy coffee,
Yeah, it's so different from how we usually drink coffee, just like gulping it down.
It is.
It's like a reminder that coffee can be so much more than just a caffeine fix.
Exactly. It's about slowing down, connecting with others, and really savoring the whole process.
Okay. Ready for one last stop on our whirlwind coffee tour.
Sure. Where are we headed?
Let's go north, way north, to Scandinavia.
All right. Scandinavia it is.
They're like the ultimate coffee lovers up there.
Yeah. Finland, Sweden, Norway. They have some of the highest coffee consumption rates in the world.
Wow. They must really love their coffee.
Oh, they do. It's a way of life up there, It's woven into their daily routine.
Well, I've heard about this Swedish concept called fika.
Oh, yeah, fika.
What is that exactly?
Well, it's more than just a coffee break. It's like a cultural institution, a time to pause, connect, recharge.
Okay.
A chance to step away from work, gather with friends or colleagues, have some coffee, and usually some sweet treats, too.
Like what?
Oh, things like cinnamon buns or cookies, things like that.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect way to get through those long, dark winters they have up there.
It is. It brings warmth and connection to the day.
It's amazing how, we've seen all these different cultures with their own traditions, but they've all embraced coffee in their own unique ways.
Yeah, it really is.
From those bustling coffee houses in Turkey to the cozy fika breaks in Sweden, coffee has found a place in everyone's heart all around the world.
It really is a testament to its versatility, and its ability to adapt to different cultures and lifestyles.
After this whirlwind coffee tour, I'm seeing coffee in a whole new light.
Me too.
It's not just a drink, it's a cultural ambassador, a historical witness, a social connector, even a personal ritual.
You got it.
Okay, so we've taken this amazing journey through coffee's history and its global reach.
Yeah, it's been quite a trip.
But now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay, what do you mean?
Let's talk about what coffee actually does to us.
You mean, like, scientifically?
Exactly. What's going on in our bodies and minds when we drink that cup of coffee?
Well, we can't talk about coffee without talking about caffeine.
Right. That's the magic ingredient.
Yeah, it's a natural stimulant, and it affects our central nervous system. That's what gives us that energy boost, helps us focus, sometimes even improves our mood.
No wonder so many of us can't function without our morning coffee.
I know, right? But it's not all about the caffeine kick.
Oh, what else is there?
Well, there's more and more research showing that coffee might actually have some other health benefits.
Really? Like what?
For example, studies have shown a link between coffee consumption and a lower risk of certain diseases.
Okay.
Like type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, even some types of cancer.
Wow. I had no idea. So what is it about coffee that's so good for us?
Well, coffee's loaded with antioxidants.
Okay.
And those are known to help protect our cells from damage. There's also this compound called chlorogenic acid, which is found in coffee, and it's been linked to things like improved blood sugar control and reduced inflammation.
So coffee's like a secret superhero. It's helping us out while we enjoy that delicious taste.
It kind of is.
But let's be real, coffee doesn't always have the best reputation, does it?
What do you mean?
Well, there's the jitters, the insomnia, the caffeine crashes.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Too much caffeine can mess with your sleep, make you anxious, even cause some digestive issues.
So like everything else, moderation is key.
Exactly.
But how much coffee is too much? Is there like a magic number?
It's different for everyone.
Yep.
Depends on your metabolism, your caffeine sensitivity, your overall health.
Right.
But in general, up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day is considered safe for most adults.
So about 4 cups of coffee.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
But it's important to remember that caffeine content can vary a lot depending on the type of coffee you're drinking, right?
Oh, absolutely. A shot of espresso is going to have way more caffeine than a cup of decaf.
Good point. Speaking of which, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about coffee floating around out there.
Oh, yeah, there are.
Any we should debunk.
Definitely. Like that coffee dehydrates you.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that.
It's true that caffeine is a mild diuretic, but the amount of fluid you get from a cup of coffee usually makes up for any diuretic effects.
So my morning coffee isn't actually working against my hydration.
Nope. As long as you're drinking enough water throughout the day, you're fine.
Okay, good to know. What about the one that coffee stunts your growth?
Oh, that one's totally a myth. There's no scientific evidence to back that up at all.
I bet teenagers everywhere are breathing a sigh of relief right now.
Probably.
Now, some people avoid coffee because they think it's bad for their heart.
I've heard that one too.
Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's true that coffee can temporarily increase your heart rate and blood pressure.
Okay.
But for most healthy adults, that effect is pretty mild, and it doesn't last long.
So no need to worry.
There's no real evidence that moderate coffee consumption causes any long-term heart problems.
It sounds like coffee has gotten a bit of a bad rap over the years.
It has, especially when you consider all those potential health benefits we talked about earlier.
Right. It's all about balance and moderation.
Exactly.
So, bottom line, should we all be drinking coffee every day?
Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all answer, you know?
Right.
The most important thing is to listen to your body, be mindful of how much you're drinking, and talk to your doctor if you have any concerns.
Right.
But for most people, enjoying coffee in moderation can be a delicious and even healthy part of a balanced lifestyle.
I love that. Coffee's not just a guilty pleasure. It can actually be good for us.
It really can.
Well, after this deep dive, I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for my daily cup of coffee.
Me too. It's been a fun journey.
It has. From those curious goats in Ethiopia to the global phenomenon it is today, coffee has come a long way.
It really has. And who knew it might even be good for our health?
Right. Well, to all our listeners out there, raise your mugs, your thermoses, whatever you've got.
Cheers to coffee.
Let's celebrate coffee, the drink that connects us, fuels our creativity, and makes our days a little bit brighter.
I'll drink to that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of coffee.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
See you then.
Until then, happy brewing. Hey there, fellow coffee lovers. You know, let's be honest. We all have some kind of relationship with coffee.
Yeah, totally. It's like love or dependence.
Maybe a little of both, right? But one thing's for sure, coffee's got us hooked. So today, we're going deep
dive
into the world of coffee. We're talking health,
mood,
brain power. Get ready for some surprises, though, because coffee, it's way more complex than you might think.
Oh, for sure.
So, okay. We all know coffee equals energy. But have you ever actually wondered how that works?
Yeah, like how does that morning cup jolt you awake?
Right. It's all about caffeine, right?
Exactly. Caffeine, it's a natural stimulant, works its magic on your central nervous system.
Okay. So walk me through it.
So your brain, it's got these things called adenosine receptors.
Okay.
And when adenosine, like a neurotransmitter, latches onto those receptors.
Yeah.
It's basically telling your body, time to slow down, buddy.
Like you're getting tired.
Exactly. But caffeine's a little bit of a trickster. Its molecular structure, so similar to adenosine, like it can sneak in, bind to those same receptors.
Oh, wow.
But instead of triggering fatigue, it blocks adenosine from doing its job.
So it's like putting a do not disturb sign on your brain's sleep switch.
That's a great way to put it.
So basically, we're hijacking our brains with that morning cup.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty powerful, huh?
That is powerful. And here's the thing. Coffee is way more than just that initial energy boost.
Oh, yeah. Much more.
I remember reading about the antioxidants in coffee, and I was blown away. I always thought antioxidants were like fruits and veggies.
Right. Makes you think colorful.
Yeah. But coffee, really?
Oh, absolutely. And not just a little bit either. Coffee is one of the richest sources of antioxidants we've got.
Okay, hold on. Antioxidants, brain-boosting powers. What else are you hiding, Coffee Bean? This is getting good.
Uh-huh. We're just getting started. Okay. Let's talk fitness.
Okay.
So many athletes, right? They swear by that pre-workout coffee.
Oh, yeah, totally. I thought it was just for energy, though.
Well, yeah, it does that, but it actually, enhances athletic performance.
Really?
It increases your adrenaline levels. Adrenaline gets your body ready for activity. It's like a natural boost.
Wow. So it's not just a placebo effect.
Nope, not at all. Some studies even show it helps with endurance, makes those tough workouts feel a bit easier.
That is good to know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm really curious about? The link between coffee and brain health.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, can it actually help protect against things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's?
It's definitely a hot topic in research.
Yeah.
And the findings, really promising.
That's amazing.
So studies suggest that caffeine and other compounds in coffee might actually protect brain cells.
Like as we age.
Yeah.
Okay.
And get this, they're looking into how coffee might reduce the buildup of harmful proteins in the brain.
Wow. Coffee, the brain protector. Who knew? But let's be real, coffee makes us feel good too.
Right. It's not just physical.
Yeah. There's a reason we crave it when we're stressed.
Absolutely. Caffeine stimulates dopamine and serotonin production.
Just feel-good neurotransmitter.
Exactly. So that morning cup can really brighten your day, helps you manage stress.
Like a little dose of happiness in a mug.
Yeah.
And I've also heard that coffee can lower the risk of some serious diseases.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Type 2 diabetes.
Liver disease.
Even some types of cancer.
How is that even possible?
Well, coffee is full of these bioactive substances. Many of them have protective effects.
Okay.
So, for example, chlorogenic acid, that powerful antioxidant, might help regulate blood sugar levels. That's key for preventing type 2 diabetes.
Oh, wow.
Other compounds have been linked to liver health, protecting it from damage and inflammation.
Amazing.
And the potential link to lower cancer risk. While more research is needed, it seems like coffee's antioxidants might help protect cells from damage, which is really important in cancer prevention.
Okay. Coffee is like the ultimate multitasker. It boosts energy, protects our brains, lifts our mood, and might even help us avoid serious diseases. Is there anything this magical bean can't do?
Well, before we get too carried away, we do need to talk about the flip side.
Okay.
Even good things can have downsides.
Right.
Especially if you overdo it.
I mean, I've definitely felt those jittery, anxious feelings after one too many cups. And I know some people who can't even handle a little bit of coffee.
Yeah, caffeine sensitivity, it varies so much from person to person.
Totally.
Some people, multiple cups a day, no problem.
Huh.
Others, just a little bit, and they're jittery, anxious, can't sleep.
It's true. So what's the key takeaway there?
Be aware of your own body's response. If you're feeling negative effects, it might be time to cut back.
Makes sense.
Or even try decaf.
Oh, yeah. Good point. And speaking of timing, that's important with coffee too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Late night coffee regret, we've all been there.
Tossing and turning. So what's the deal with that?
Well, caffeine stays in your system for hours. If you want to be asleep by, say, 10 p.m., that last cup should probably be no later than 4 p.m. Gives your body time to process the caffeine.
Good rule of thumb. It's so easy to forget that coffee isn't just an instant energy fix.
Yeah.
It really does have a lasting impact.
It does. And let's not forget about the whole coffee-gut connection. So many people have trouble with that.
Oh, yeah. Stomach upset, acid reflux. It's real.
Coffee stimulates stomach acid production. For some. Real problem.
So any tips for those people?
Yeah. Try having it with food. Buffers the acid.
Okay.
Or experiment with lower acidity blends. Tons of options out there these days.
Good to know. Sometimes, though, I think it's not even the coffee itself that's the issue. It's all the stuff we add.
Oh, 100%. Sugar, cream, all those syrups turns a healthy cup into a calorie bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget about those extras.
Yeah.
So worth paying attention to what you're adding in.
For sure. All those added sugars, fats, not great if you have health goals.
Right. Gotta find that balance.
Absolutely. Enjoy the treats in moderation, but also appreciate a well-brewed cup on its own.
Love that. And speaking of moderation, there's another A word we need to address.
Uh-oh. The big one.
Addiction.
Yeah. Caffeine is a stimulant. Dependence is definitely possible. Rely on coffee every day. You might experience headaches, fatigue if you skip it.
Like withdrawal symptoms.
Exactly. But it's not about demonizing coffee, right?
No, of course not.
Just being aware of your reliance on it. Recognizing the potential downsides of too much.
So how do we strike that balance then? Enjoy the good without falling into the traps.
That's the question, isn't it? The answer is different for everyone, but moderation is key. 1 to 3 cups a day seems to be the sweet spot for most.
Okay, 1 to 3. Got it. But more importantly,
listen to your body. Experiencing negative effects. Time to adjust your coffee habits.
so it's not about rigid rules. It's about making coffee work for you, not against you.
Exactly. Finding that sweet spot where you can enjoy all the amazing things coffee has to offer.
And remember, coffee is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. Not a substitute for sleep, diet, exercise.
It's about balance, healthy choices.
Finding that harmony between enjoying coffee and making choices that benefit your mind and body.
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? Living a healthy, happy life.
One delicious cup at a time.
I love that. Welcome back, coffee lovers. I don't know about you, but after all that coffee science, I'm ready for another cup.
Me too.
But before we do, let's talk about the cultural side of coffee.
Oh yeah, for sure. Coffee is so much more than just a drink.
Right. It's a ritual, a social thing, almost like an obsession for some.
Totally. It's got a whole universe around it, from how it's grown to like the art of making it.
You see all these different coffee shops, different trends. It's amazing.
Yeah. We're talking centuries of tradition, global trade, and people are always coming up with new ways to brew it, new flavors.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it, you know, from those old Ethiopian coffee ceremonies to like Italian espresso bars. Coffee's everywhere.
And it's always changing. Cold brew, nitro coffee, single origin beans, all this fancy latte art. It never gets boring.
I feel like there's always something new to try. So it makes me wonder, what's your coffee personality? Are you like a coffee snob? Weighing your beans, trying all the fancy brewing methods? Or are you more laid back, just happy with a regular cup?
That's a good question. I think I'm somewhere in between. I do like good coffee, trying different roasts and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not obsessed with all the gadgets and trends.
Yeah.
For me, it's more about the ritual, like taking a break, enjoying the smell, that cozy feeling.
I love that. It's about what coffee means to you, how it fits into your life. And that's what I hope people listening take away from this.
Yeah.
Just be curious, explore your own coffee journey, see how it makes you feel, try different things, and find what you love. There's no right or wrong way, as long as you enjoy it.
Exactly. Find what works for you. Whether you're a total coffee geek or just enjoy a casual cup, there's a whole world of coffee out there waiting to be discovered.
So true. Embrace your coffee love, savor every sip, and let it make your day a little bit better.
Wow, we've covered so much in our coffee deep dive today.
I know, right? From the science-y stuff to like the whole cultural thing.
It's been a journey.
Totally. And honestly, I feel like we've just scratched the surface. There's so much more to learn about coffee.
Oh, absolutely. Like the roasting process, the global trade, it's huge.
It is. And that's what's so cool about it. It's personal, but it also connects people all over the world.
It really does. It makes you think even something as simple as coffee can be so complex.
Right. We kind of take it for granted, but it's shaped history, economies, everything.
It's amazing. And it just shows you got to slow down sometimes. Appreciate the little things.
Like a good cup of coffee.
Exactly. So next time you grab your mug, think about everything we talked about.
Yeah.
The science, the culture, your own personal connection to it.
It makes you appreciate it even more.
And remember, coffee is not just a drink. It's a ritual, a way to connect with people, a little bit of comfort and inspiration.
So embrace your coffee love. Let it fuel your creativity, your zest for life, all that good stuff.
Here's to that.
And until next time, happy brewing, everyone.
Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next podcast.